North Massapequa Fire Department, 1000 North Broadway, towards North Park Drive in North Albany.
Multiple explosions coming from 661. Unable to get any ambulance, any rig down except for 667. Automatically go to a third alarm.
Another Ask Scanner School session here. My name is Phil Lichtenberger, and again, we are here to answer your scanner radio questions. And again, I've tried something brand new this month. I put a splash screen up so that I had a couple of extra seconds to get myself ready to be on microphone. And yeah, well, guess who forgot he put in the splash screen? So I was supposed to be quiet during those 5 seconds, but we'll try to do that again next month. So yeah, look, new me. For those of you who haven't noticed, I'm a little bit different this month, thanks to some chemotherapy treatments, and also what's up here is also different, hence the hat. But if you have any questions that you have for me this month, go ahead and post them over in the chat box. So if you're listening to us or watching us over on YouTube, you can use the live chat. If you're over on Facebook, you could use the chat down below. Twitter, I think, is the same exact way. And also, if you're catching us on the replay, go ahead and leave me your questions, because, again, I always come back to these videos after the fact and see if there's any questions that came in after our live stream. So, again, we normally do this on the first Tuesday of every month, but we're doing things a little bit different because, you know, with medications and whatnot. So let's go over to our question cards here and see if we have any questions that came in here. And I am looking for where that screen is here. Let's see if we got it over here. So if I do this one, there we go. So let me transition over here, and let me transition over to my chat window. Let's see what we got here. I don't know where it went. There it is. Hey, look, the chat is empty, but I think I saw this chat over here directly in YouTube. So I'm going to look to my other screen, and it says I got John in, human being, Barry is in, Joshua's in, and Wayne. So John is up first, and he says, hey, Phil, hopes all is well. Before buying an SDS 200, how can you test a simulcast before I buy? So simulcast is one of these issues, for those of you who don't know, is when you have multiple transmitters transmitting the exact same information at the same time. Basically, you have multiple transmitter sites, right? Or multiple transmitter towers or antennas, whatever you want to call them, and they're linked together. So they are simulcasting, right? They are repeating the same information in sequence in time, right? And being that they're all linked together, you're going to have issues such as propagation delays or just general reflection, stuff like that, signal bouncing off of buildings and back at you again. And what that happens is it gives your radio a minor, we're talking microsecond delay in receiving the multiple different sites. Now, when you look at radio reference in the radio reference database, these sites are only listed one time as, say, Southwest simulcast or Northeast simulcast or something like that. You don't see every single transmitter location. And what actually ends up happening is when we have an issue like this, we get the scanner, most scanner radios can't put the zeros and ones back together again because of the propagation delay. Things are now out of sync. And I'm multitasking here because I want to find a video and I want to post this video in with the comments here. So I'm just going to copy this link here, and over on the chat, I'm just going to drop this video for you guys to take a look at afterwards. This is a video I did on Simulcast. So Simulcast. And this video kind of explains as to exactly how Simulcast is and what I'm explaining to you right now. Now, how do you test for Simulcast? Well, the first thing you'd want to do is obviously you'd want to go to radio reference and see if you have an issue with Simulcast. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm just going to bring up the radio reference database on my computer here, and then we're going to transition the screen over. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go to transition. All right, you guys should all see the window up now from my browser. So I'm going to go to Browse, and I'm just going to go to what I know best, right, which is where I live. So we're going to go to Nassau County, New York. I'm going to go to the trunk systems. And again, we're going to go to the P25 systems, right? This is what Simulcast is really going to give us a hard time for. So I'm looking for the Nassau County Public Safety. And if we look at the names here, we have Oyster Bay Simulcast, UHF Simulcast, 800 Simulcast, right? We name these in our market here with the word simulcast in it if it's a simulcast site. So if I click on UHF Simulcast, which, by the way, used to be called primary simulcast. Actually, this is we used to call this one primary simulcast. But these are all the transmitter locations, right? And all of these transmitter locations here on the screen key up at the exact same time. So if you were close, say you were down here in Massapequa, you would think I'd only hear the Massapequa site, right? But you may hear this one that's down here by, say, Oceanside or up by Garden City, right? Depending on where you're driving through, right? If you're driving through the parkway here, you may pick up multiple transmitter locations. Now, how do you test for this on your scanner? Well, if you have a scanner radio, such as a 436 or a 536 or a TRX1 or whatever it is, like a monitor P25, if you're driving around or if you're in the middle of the simulcast sites, you may notice that you can hear the trunk control channel just fine. But what ends up happening is when you go over to a voice channel, what ends up happening here is the fact that your scanner will then go right back to the control channel. It can't hear that the voice channel. It gets all goofy like that, right? It basically just says, there's nothing here I can hear, and it goes back to control channel. So if you're noticing that your scanner is on a control channel and it quickly goes to a voice channel, goes back again, and goes to a voice channel, goes back again, and you notice that your scanner has been awfully quiet and it's been bouncing around quite a bit, or when it goes to a voice channel, it's garbled a little bit, or you're only getting part of the transmission, right? That will show you that you have an issue with simulcast. Now, another way to find out if you have simulcast in your area is simply by getting a software-defined radio, taking our scanner software-defined course, and if you go into software such as SDR Trunk or Unitrunker or DSD plus Fastlane, and you start monitoring the system and you start hearing more by using your SDR than you do on your previous scanner, then you'll also notice too that, okay, well, I've confirmed that, yeah, I've got simulcast here because my SDS or software-defined radio is picking up all these transmissions and my typical scanner is not. So that's also how you look at it. How else do you find out if you have simulcast in your area? There's also a designation usually for C4FM or QPSK, right, on some of these designations. Now, right here in our modulations, we put NA here, right? And I should probably go back in here and populate this modulation here to make it a little bit more helpful for those who are looking for simulcast. Now, off the top of my head, I want to say that the C4FM is non-simulcast and the QPSK is simulcast, but I could be completely backwards on that one because it's been a while since I looked at that one. But that's really how we find out. And I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing the screen now. Let me go back and share the screen on that one. Back to OBS. And let me do a transition over here. So again, what I was just explaining here is the fact that this modulation right here, usually we would change that to QPSK or FSM4, I think is what the other one is that we would populate here. I don't think looking at the information here will give you anything. But these are all the locations anyway. And again, you can see all the locations on the map. If it comes up blank, again, you can still look. Like if the latitude longitude is not there, you can just take a look at this and say, okay, well, where are my locations on here, right? And we can see that we have a I forget what band stands for, but it's like a building top, I believe. And then you've got the tower, then you've got another water tank. So all of these are the locations that are on the map here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, there's 7 here. This 5 might be just mobile units, right? These are field units. So if I look at number 5 on the listing here, let's see, position 5, right? These are mobiles, right? These are 6,000 mobile radios that they've got licensed. So that's how you basically find out, John, if you have simulcast. Now, I know where you live in Jersey. Yes, you've definitely got simulcast issues on the New Jersey interstate system. Or the NJICS system. So you're going to want to make sure for sure that you've got an SDS scanner there. And if we take a look at that again, whoop, I don't want to do that one. I want to do dashboard. Whoop, dashboard. I shouldn't be showing the screen. Radio reference database. Browse. New Jersey. And if we go into the NJICS. West New Jersey trunk systems. Actually, I got to go to the county first. So we'll go to Bergen. And then we go to Bergen Trunk Systems, and we go to the NJICS. And again, we have simulcast, right? And this was one of the areas that people jumped onto the see here you got here too. HDQ PSK LSM, right? Linear simulcast, right? There you go. And it says nodes 3 sites simulcast. So again, if you dig into the radio reference database, you'll see that you've got simulcast in here as well. All right. Hopefully that answered your question on that one. And let me go back and transition screens over here and get back over to here. We got a lot of questions coming in. Very good. Or comments as well. Human being, why did you remove my comment about buying an SDRs? I don't know. What video was that question on? I didn't see any questions regarding that one. But if you have a video or whatever, I definitely did not remove any comments from anybody lately. So it may be throttled. YouTube might have flagged it, but let me know where you've posted that question, and I'll take a look. But if you have a question about it, let me know. I did not remove anything about that one, so let me know where you posted that. I'll take a look, and if you want to repost your comment now, go ahead, and I will definitely take a look. Again, Joshua is in. Wayne, we've got you in there. Bear Bull got you in. Dale is commenting on the simulcast. Dale, thank you for commenting on that one and helping out. Josh, we gave up on your SDR dongle. Let me see if these are in here, so I'm actually looking at the right screen. And we transition so you guys can see me. Where's my screen? There you go. So Joshua says, I gave up on my SDR dongle. We spent hours trying to get it to work on the P25 and no luck. I also tried getting a single frequency NXDN to work. Same thing. Gave up. Might get into the SDS 100 again. Joshua, did you try, just out of curiosity, our courses that we have on the SDRs? I'll put a link to that right here. So that's https courses.scannerschool.com. The first course that we have is a free course that will get you up and running in about an afternoon. We take you to a point about getting to DSD Plus. Our paid course continues from there. And in fact, this week, I am planning on posting the Unitrunker module, so that will get you even further on P25. But it may have to do with your gain settings, if they're too high, if they're too low, your drift. Some SDRs work better than others. You got to make sure that you don't have a knockoff dongle. So there's some things to look out for on that as well. So that's that. Jim's in. Jim says, on the SDS 100, what should the low voltage be set to? The low voltage setting that you mean when the battery goes low? I mean, that's up to you. It depends how much of a warning you really want on your scanner before you start hearing the battery low alarm. I typically leave that as stock. I know that's a setting that you could do on the Whistlers and GREs. I'm not sure if that's a setting that you can do on the SDS 100. And I'm looking on my desk here for my SDS 100. Nope, that's on a different desk right at the moment. So I'm not sure you could change that, but if you can, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. The lower you make that alarm setting for, the less time you're going to have basically before the battery dies out. So that's something to keep in mind there. Barry says, looking for a desktop scanner. Your area is phase 1 P25. You also want to pick up about 30 miles away unobstructed. What budget scanner would you recommend and what antenna? So let's work from the top down here, Barry. And let me also change my... Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's change over here so you can see me better. So top down, right? We want to look at this one. So for... depends what frequencies you're looking for to monitor primarily. I recommend the Diamond Discone D130NJ. In fact, if you're looking for that one, we do have an affiliate link for that one. So that would be, I'll just put that here in the chat. And that's the antenna that I recommend. It's a beautiful diamond antenna. Discone antenna, and that would work from basically 30 megahertz up through a gig or 1.3 gig. So that covers most of that covers most of. Let's see my restream reload. Let's see. That covers pretty much all of the bands, right? That covers all of the bands for public safety and what we want to scan through. If you have a specific band you're looking for, say it's just UHF or just VHF or just 800, then maybe you want to buy an antenna that is primarily cut or manufactured just for that band split, because that'll give you some gain on there, right? And the antenna is really where the rubber meets the road, right? That is your first point of contact between the outside world. Beyond there, we need good quality coax. And what happens with coax is the longer the coax run, the more loss you have over a set signal. So if we come over here to, let's see if I can find it really quickly, times microwave coax calculator. And let me just transition the screen here once this loads. Beautiful. Wrong window. Okay, so what we want to look at basically is the loss on our coax, right? Because this is our next line that comes into the house. So if we say we take 400 megahertz, let's just go right down to 460, right in the middle of the public safety band. We see we have a 100-foot run, right? And we are going to pick LMR 400, right? Which is the coax that we kind of recommend here on Scanner School all the time. LMR. Let's just do apples to apples. Why did it default there? LMR 400. And we calculate this, right? We will see that we have a loss of 2.8 dB per 100 feet. Okay, you're losing almost half your signal. Now, if we up that to, say, 851 megahertz, where many trunk systems are, and we calculate that, we see that our loss is, at 100 feet, 3.8 dB. This is important. If we change this now to something different, right? Say we change this to RG, right? Or we change this to, let's see, RG. Say RG 58, just for example, right? Everybody's cringing at home. 15 dB of loss at 851 megahertz, right? You can see coax quality makes all the difference in the world here. If we do RG 59, right, this is pretty close in here. Why did I lose all my attenuation here? Well, that was a bad example then. I am really looking for something like RG6 just to prove a point here, but I can't find RG6. But you see RG213 is actually 6.4. So you can see the right type of cable makes all the difference here. So we normally recommend LMR 400 when it comes to scanner radios. Now, the next thing you want to look at now is your type of radio, and you said budget radio. So let me transition back over to me. Now, there's a lot of scanners out there that you can pick from when it comes to looking at the different technologies here and the different types of scanners. And I'm just looking for my screen to make sure I have everybody up on chat. I'm trying to get back to your question. Phase 1 P25. Okay, perfect. So what we basically have is a pile of scanner radios that we can pick from here, because Phase 1 at this point is old. Let's put it that way, just frankly and bluntly. If you're not worried about Simulcast, which I'm looking here, desktop scanner of page 25 phase 1, you didn't say anything about Simulcast. So let's just ignore Simulcast right now and completely take it out of the equation, because we have to put it in the equation. Then again, Simulcast is going to say, SDS scanners right there, or software-defined radios. But what we can do when we only have phase 1 P25 and we have no Simulcast to worry about is the world is our oyster when it comes to P25. So we can look at eBay and find a used scanner. And we can go back as like the BCD 796, a BCD 785. We can look at a Pro 106 or Pro 197. These are all really good quality phase 1 scanners, early model scanners though. And one I would recommend too would be a Whistler 1065. That's a great desktop scanner. Let me see if I do have a link for that one as well. And let me see if I can pull that up here. Let's see if I have it. Let's see. 1065. I'll drop two links in here. One is for Scanner Master and one is for Amazon. If you want to take a look at them, let me see if I can drop in the link and do Restream. So I got that is the affiliate link over to Scanner Master, and this is the affiliate link over to Amazon, and we'll take a look at these right now. And it's out of stock on Amazon. Scanner Master. So that's okay. So let's take a quick look. But at least you can see what the scanner looks like over here. So this is the 1065. This radio here has got beautiful audio that comes out of it. It is based off of Whistler's scan list settings. The screen is a little lacking on the information here. But once you get your hand around the programming, I do like this scanner. I've owned one of these for years, and I love the bassiness on the audio that comes out of this. I think it sounds much better than anything you'll actually get from Uniden. And the handheld version of this one is a 1040. And again, these are great scanners as well. Other scanners here that are in stock that you can take a look at as well. Maybe not in stock, but the TRX1 is a I don't know why it's not on their list here, but the TRX2 is a mobile version. Again, we'll do phase 1 and phase 2. A little bit of money, but that's why I kind of gravitated towards the 1065, because it's a phase 1 only scanner. It is the more affordable option of the choice when it comes to P25 scanning. If you want a brand new scanner, that's why I gravitated towards this one. But again, like I said, the world's your oyster. If all you want is P25 phase 1, you can go on eBay and pretty much pick up any P25 scanner you want if it's going to be phase 1. And I do use some older scanner radios right here just to monitor my local Medcom channels, because it's a UHF phase 1 talk group, and they work great on monitoring them. I don't need an expensive radio or even an outdoor antenna, because I'm only picking up the local trunk system. So Barry, I really hope that answers your question over there. Let's see. We got more questions coming in, and I apologize for looking off screen here, but I did lose my chat, so we're going back here. So I've got John, you're very welcome. See, Bill K is saying it could be the gain setting, right, on the SDRs. Josh was saying you bought the SDRs directly from RTL. You followed the quick start guide and was using SDR Sharp to try to get the SD Plus to play together and look. Don't use SDR Sharp with the SD Plus. Don't do that. There's no need for that. Run SDR Plus. I'm sorry, DSD Plus on its own. That's what you want to do. All right, that's the best way to get all the data into DSD Plus. I did the old way of doing virtual audio cables and everything else. Forget all that method. Okay, you're gonna save yourself some trouble. I would strongly suggest going back to the drawing board on this one. Ditch SDR Sharp as part of the equation. It's good for testing the SDR. It's good for tuning things in. It's good for making sure things are right. But if you want to start with digital modulation, strongly suggest that you jettison that part of the equation there. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Bill KC says, I used DSD Plus standalone and had to have assistance from Phil getting it set up and running. It was a challenge, and you don't know SDR trunk that well. But yeah, Bill, we spent a little bit of time and also some frustration with the knockoff SDR that unfortunately you got sent from Amazon. But again, you're up and running, which is great. And yeah, SDR Trunk will be another module that we release. In fact, SDR Trunk just released a new version, and let's take a look at that one really quickly here. Let me bring that up here, SDR Trunk, and that's over on this GitHub. And let's transition over. So SDR Trunk is a great piece of software for monitoring multiple trunk systems. This is what it looks like when it's on your screen right here. In fact, let me just increase this here so you can see. Why is it going down? There we go. Where'd the screen go? Whoop. There it is. So you get a nice little waterfall that shows up on screen, and you can see, you know, what's on the spectrum, and you can also see what you are monitoring as far as control channels goes, and also what's active on the system, talk groups and radio IDs and whatnot. This works really well when it comes to archiving audio and playing around with getting things set up. SDR Trunk is a little bit of a challenge to get set up. I use it with phase 2 talk groups because Unitrunker doesn't work with phase 2 that well, but I do like SDR Trunk. Again, a little bit of a dog to set up. But if you go over to releases, we got 23 releases. The latest final release is version 5.0, which is the latest public release after some time. It did come out, but we do have a updated beta version now of version 5 that just came out. And where is that? So this is releases. Let's see, beta 1, right? Just popped out, which fixes a little bit of bugs that were introduced in version 5. And this was just released. I'm looking for the date on here. I don't see the date, but I do know it was fairly recent that it came out. Maybe I lower my screen resolution a little bit to help you guys see, but let's see. Minimize. Support. Full change log. 2 weeks ago, last week, right? So this is very, very hot off the presses, right? So there we go. All right, let's see what else we have filing in here for questions as to what has been going on. So let's go transition over, and let's see if we got anything else coming in. Bear Bull, are all P2 systems simulcast systems? No, they are not. No, not all phase 2 systems. It comes down to the physical site on that system that designates whether or not it is P2, simulcast or not. So, for example, let's go ahead back over to a radio reference, and let's do a screen share again. All right, so if we look at the sites here, right, we've got Orange County simulcasts, right? Simulcast. But on this same system, we have all of these standalone sites, right, that do not say simulcast. It is safe to assume that these sites here are standalone. They are not simulcast. They're not part of a group, right? So this would say that this is a hybrid system, more or less. You have both simulcasts and standalone island sites that are not, or fill-in sites that are not part of a simulcast network, right? I don't know off the top of my head if there are any standalone, like this, these all say simulcast on them. I'm just kind of going through and trying to find, okay, so this one is a phase 1, so again, and this one here too, system type phase 1. Most systems are capable of phase 2, and they will announce that they're phase 2 capable. What you're looking for primarily is the mode, right? D stands for digital or a phase 1 talk group. A T would be a phase 2 talk group. So the system has to announce that it's phase 2 capable and that it's actually using a phase 2, basically, talk group. So here we go here. This is a New Jersey Turnpike Authority, right? And we just picked this one up. None of these say simulcast. Are these simulcast? I don't know, right? But none of them say simulcast. And these are phase 2 talk groups. So here we go, right? I just happened to get lucky in this one. I was just picking through different ones. And it looks like nobody listed these as simulcast. So we are going to assume, right, that these are not, look at this, one site. So I got lucky on this one, right? Every once in a while, even a clock is right twice a day, I guess you could say, right? But this is a phase 2 system with phase 2 talk groups with non-simulcast sites. So I think that answers that question there. All right, so we're getting close to the bottom of the hour here, and as a reminder, I will be jumping over to our Patreon-only Q&A session that runs right after this over on Zoom. So if you're not a member of Patreon or you are a member of Patreon, make sure you check your Patreon dashboard. If you're not a member of Patreon and you want to join us, you can get it started over there for, I think, $1 a month is my entry-level tier. But the meeting is set up for people who are participating at $5 a month. And if you join right now, you get billed instantly and you get the invite instantly, and you can join us over there. You can go to scannerschool.com/Patreon. As far as what's been going on here recently, of course, for those of you who are longtime watchers and viewers, again, I look a little bit different, a little bit clean shaven here. Again, this is all due to what's going on with the chemo treatments, and I go back again for chemo on Tuesday for round 4 of so far 6. So hopefully we're getting close to the end of that one, and I can start regrowing some hair and looking back to normal again. I really don't like having a cold face, so it's a different world for me. And also, it's my first time on camera since having to shave it all off. So this is the first time anybody's really seen me with this one. We are also looking at keeping our YouTube channel going. In fact, what I've been doing is we've been releasing 2 versions of the podcast, a longer form version of the podcast over on all the podcast platforms, but we've been showing or having an abbreviated version of the podcast with slides and images and B-roll over on our YouTube channel. So if after this session, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel or checked out the video, why don't you go ahead and check it out. We've got videos that just came out this week, like 7 scanner radio myths that we need to debunk today, or 5 tips to getting started in scanning radio right now. And also we've got our buyer's guide out there as well. So if you're not subscribed to us over on YouTube, again, you can go to scannerschool.com/YouTube and join us over there. So with that, I want to, let's see, we got one more question that came in. 2 more questions came in. Let's see, we got Alan is saying, is there any way to listen to Please Private? No, there's no way to listen to anything that's encrypted. That's completely off the table. It's kind of like the example of trying to watch HBO without paying for it. You're not going to be able to watch HBO without paying for it. And it's the same thing when it comes to encrypted transmissions, right? They're encrypted. They're behind a key, and you need that key to listen to them. No scanner radio on the market at all allows you to put in a key to listen to them, and it would be illegal to do that. Basically, what they're saying is that you're an unauthorized user on a encrypted system, and people have gotten into big trouble with that one. So that's really a conversation that I, am just going to leave at the door right there. Bear Bull is also chiming in and saying our system in my area was phase 1, but they're transitioning over to phase 2, and you could definitely tell from the audio from phase 1 to phase 2. I haven't listened and was able to tell that one, but that one's interesting that you can actually hear the difference. I can hear the difference between analog and digital. I hate digital transmissions. To me, it just does not sound natural. Yeah, it might be a little bit cleaner, but it's to me, the audio sounds like it's rolling off. It doesn't sound natural to me. And I would take an analog transmission any day over digital, but I definitely get the reasons why we do digital. Hey, you know what? This is a great idea for an upcoming session. Why we use digital. Why we use digital today. And really quickly, I mean, just off the top of my head, why do we use digital transmissions today? Spectrum efficiency. Because when you have a TDMA talk group, which is time division multiple access, that means you could put 2 people on the same resource, right? It's AB, right? And they transition time slots so fast, we can't hear it. So to us, it sounds like just a normal transmission. But in reality, it's right, going in microseconds. And the radios, because they're timed up perfectly, they can go back and forth between the time slots. Now, in 2G cell phones, we had TDMA, and TDMA allowed us to have 7 time slots on the same frequency, 7 users on the same voice path. So GSM, I think, was a little bit different when it came to that. But again, it's interesting how digital allows us to be a little bit more spectrum efficient when it comes to things. And that's what the name of the game is these days. So, all right, guys, with that, I am going to say 7-3. Make sure you're subscribed over here. And for everybody else who's on Patreon, we'll catch you over in just 1 second. Give me a second over there to transition. And again, we'll catch you all next month. Make sure you subscribe so you know when we do it live, because now we're a little bit fluid with our timing. All right? Thanks again, guys, and we'll catch you all again next month. And let me go ahead over here and also, where's this slide shot I'm looking for here? See, I moved it. All right, guys. Have a good one. 73.